Hey Felicia, so many people are starting to put their home on the market early spring because they think that's the perfect time to sell. Who is their competition?
I think it's new construction.
All day long. I just did some research on this, and a third of all homes that sold in November and December of 2024 were new construction. So if you're putting your home on the market and you're a resale, whether you're 2 years old or 42 years old, your home is going to be competing with that new construction. And what's new construction people doing?
They're changing up the things that they're doing. You're not seeing the same colors that you saw even 2 years ago. So you may have an existing house that's 2 years old that was new then, that's going to have a different color scheme.
They're also offering financing.
Oh,
so
yeah, they are.
Our interest rates have not dropped.
Yeah.
And people are finally, okay, the rates are going to drop. I'm still going to buy a home. I need to go ahead and sell, or I need to go ahead and buy. New construction is competing because they're offering $12,000 toward closing costs, or they're already offering buy downs, or they're offering bonuses. So we who are reselling homes have got to constantly recognize the fact that that's our competition. So with that in mind, today we're going to talk about how to compete with your resale home with new competition and some must-have things to do that are non-negotiables if you want to make big money.
Let me take over for a second.
Take over.
What if we just left a house? And in fact, we did. And we were talking to our seller, just like you were saying just a few minutes ago, about the things that they needed to do to enter this market correctly and actually get the money that they want out of this. Are they going to have to spend some money, Susan?
Yes, absolutely. There's some non-negotiable items, and we know you know a lot of them, but you may not know all of them. So regardless of where you are in the country, I think this definitely applies. I mean, obviously we're in Middle Tennessee. We're been in the market for a long, long time, buying and selling and helping people buy and sell their homes.
Building.
But this is a non-negotiable wherever you are in the country.
It is, and times change, thought patterns change, your clientele changes. I mean, we're actually trying to enter the market thinking in terms of the people that we actually are going to have come through your home. And that buyer is different now even than it was 5 years ago,
Definitely.
2 years ago. They're younger. They're looking, where are they shopping? They're on Pinterest.
Online first. Online first.
Yeah.
So the first non-negotiable, I think, is just declutter. Take everything out of the house. You're no longer living in it. You have to think of it as though it's a hotel. Think of how you walk into a hotel, everything feels fresh and clean in their space. That's how we want people to feel when they walk into your home, and they have to have seen that space to even decide to walk into it because they saw it from great pictures. But that decluttering is...
It's huge. Let me just say right now, we're not walking into your home and saying that your things are ugly. That is not what we're saying. We're walking into your home and saying, this is beautiful, this was wonderful, this is your home. You walk into my home and I would have to change things about it before I enter the market.
Absolutely.
It is not that your things are not appropriate. It's that they're not going to work for the buyer who's coming in. And frankly, we don't want them to see your things and get lost shopping all your items or your grandmother's things or whatever. We want them to see their stuff and envision themselves living in your home for you to get your money.
And that only happens with a minimal amount of furniture. It happens with a very white palettes. I mean, walls are white. They're not gray. It's not cold. I have certain paint colors that I love.
You'll have to change them. Yeah.
They're all still white. I mean, just varying degrees of white.
Oh, as far as what we suggest for our clients, absolutely. We have wonderful palette combinations that you might match together to create that uniform, neutral, inviting atmosphere and change it up a little bit. And while we're talking about color, there are some changes that have happened over the last couple years. I mean, they're not just black and white now. We have some warmth coming back in.
And it's not the cold grays. It's the nature colors. It's the colors you see in nature. And I've always kind of worried about those gray floors. I like a solid surface floor, but the gray floors, I don't see gray in nature. So it just doesn't feel right.
Unless
and
it's
hard
dead.
to figure out what kind of woods work. Unless it's dead, yes.
We're not saying that if you have gray floors, that ain't going to work for you.
We can work with
it. We can warm it up and add some different neutrals to it that you bring back into the setting. But what may have attracted you a couple years ago with that more stark, cool,
very
tone,
clean. Clean.
And a minimalist atmosphere, you can actually add and bring some more warmth back in.
Think about it when you go into new construction and they're beautifully staged. Now, you don't see little Bobby's name on the walls.
No,
depersonalize, and that's a safety
handprints.
statement.
Yeah, I don't want your child's pictures on the internet.
Not the schools,
I don't want my child's pictures
not their
on the
push
internet.
bulletin board with their names and all that kind of stuff. That's not even safe, and people see those from pictures. But what I'm thinking of really is the staging is very clean. It's very neutral. It's crisp. It's clean. It's fresh. and that's your competition. So you've got to walk through your own home and do that. So when we go into a home to look at it, your decorator may have done a beautiful job. They did.
Not
but
saying
that's
she didn't.
not how a house sells.
It is. Again, we're not trying to insult anybody. We do this for a living. You would come through our home and say the same thing. You all need to take those towels down and let me add in. So I'm doing it all the time. I bring towels in that are neatly folded, almost
Fresh,
like
white,
rolled or hotel
rolled.
style stacked, and they're white or they're a light color that works perfectly, and they're all the same. We're not going to have all your little jelly bean factory towels go out, and I know that that's not what you want to hear, but that is going to go away. We're going to stuff those in a cabinet. They're going away.
No floor cloths.
No, we don't want all your little mats. all over
Nobody wants to
no.
walk around or think about walking around where your bare feet have been.
It's not even a good look, okay? We're going to take your little things. If you've got the doilies around, and don't take it the wrong way. I know that maybe your grandmother made it or whatever. It's not going to happen. It doesn't look like you want it to look in the pictures that you're putting out there on the internet for the public to see.
Pack it up. It's going with you, or sell it. But either way, get it. We want to see clean surfaces. You want to see shiny. You want to see, you know what? We skipped one step, I think. Deep, deep, deep cleaning.
Okay, while you're
Deep
packing
cleaning.
up, you need to clean your house. I need to clean my house. I am not attacking anybody. I had a realtor tell me not too long ago when she was showing one of my clients' properties, and this particular client was military. You know, they're really good at cleaning, and she was insulted, but the realtor went in, who was also military, and she said, this woman should have cleaned her baseboards. Well, you know what she should have?
Yes. It's baseboards, it's windows,
Yes.
it's tops of cabinetry. It is on the dust on the light
Lights.
bulb.
Wash your lights for outside too. People don't realize how clear and clean and nice and crisp that looks when your lights are cleaned outside. And like I said, I'm not telling you to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
We need to.
You know?
So you need to have a deep, deep, deep thorough cleaning, almost a construction cleaning, but then every single week continue to clean because you're living in the house. You've got pets, you've got dander, you've got hair stuff. Cleaning is number one.
And while we're
Number
talking
one.
about that, your home is no longer your home. When it enters the market, it becomes a commodity, and it's something that you want to command a good presence with on the internet and attract people, and it becomes somebody else's home, we hope.
That's
you
your
know?
goal. Your goal is to have it be somebody else's home and make the most money possible. So
Absolutely.
that's our goal. So I'm looking at light bulbs right now that are matched. One of my biggest
What a
pet
concept.
peeves- I know. Well, we're in a new construction home.
It's an absolutely beautiful home.
This is your competition. Is a brand new home that's never been lived in, that's perfectly staged. So
And
I'm
while
looking
we're
at
here-
totally matched light bulbs. Nothing is stranger feeling, and you don't even know why.
This light, this kind of light, this warm light, this cool light on me, it doesn't work. And then
The
your weird
same
bulb,
light
just take
bulbs.
your ugly weird bulb out, okay? We don't want to see that weird little bulb. We're glad that it saves you electricity. It's not pretty in the fixture. It wasn't brought to
Pack
be
it
in the
up,
fixture.
take it with you.
Yeah.
But you want to use
Then
2700
there's
about
that.
the whole way through. It's a soft bulb. Now, if you want to do something a little brighter, a little stronger, 3000 in the kitchen. But who wants to feel like you're on a surgical ward?
Cafeteria, yeah, or the surgical ward. I mean, she's right about that. First of all, there's also lighting things about you. I know it is your home. I know you own the home and you live in the home. You don't want to look like you're walking through the morgue. So there's lighting there. I mean, I can't say it any better.
Yeah,
It's the truth.
that's it.
You're going to be
That's
in
it.
there with no makeup on. You don't need to have some harsh lighting on you anyway.
Right.
And that kind of goes with color too, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But the big thing about lighting that she's saying, consistency. Having it be the same lighting throughout the home, whether it's the warm light, whether it's the cooler light, whichever one you choose. And a lot of lights have that option where you can switch the bulb setting or the setting if it's an LED or something like that.
Yeah.
You can do that, but keep it consistent and mind how you look in there. Because if you don't look good in your house, when they walk through your house,
They
gonna
don't look good
yeah,
either.
Exactly. They're going to look sick.
And
They're not
everybody
gonna
wants
like
to
it.
look good, that's for sure. Something else I'm looking at, this is a brand new house, bright, fresh windows.
Oh,
they got
no.
nothing covered up. If you have the older drapes with the valances, and
Even
that,
if they're exquisitely
take
done.
them. They are exquisitely
They're just
done.
not-
They were expensive. They're
Yeah.
not what people want, guys. People are buying on Instagram, and half of us don't even know what's good taste.
Well, they're
I
younger,
hate to admit
too.
that.
Well,
Most of us don't know what's good taste. What they see on Instagram is what they think is what it needs to be. What you're seeing on Instagram is bright, light, fresh, clean, curtains hung from as high as you can, right below the molding if
It
possible.
elevates the room
No
and the size of the
puddling,
room.
No puddling on the floors.
Yeah, we don't puddle
That's-
anymore because it catches all the dirt and really somebody's going to step
Somebody's
on it.
going to step
okay?
on it too.
But the truth is, it's not necessarily that they don't have taste. It's that the taste has changed. People don't want that look. And that is what you have to enter into the market competing against. And let me just say, we want to give a shout out to our friend Whitney, whose husband and she built this beautiful home, which is new construction right in Nashville, and it's Sun Valley Custom Homes. And we would love to help you with them. They have lots of different types of homes and lots of different architectural styles. So that's a one-on-one conversation that we have with you, but we want to say thank you, and you'll get to see how beautifully done this recommendation or something like this.
Some of the things we're mentioning and we're going to point out in the show is why we wanted you to see it here. The numbers don't lie. If most homes sold were new construction, there's abundance of reasons. This is one of the big reasons, because people always want to live after something brand new. So we've talked about towels, clean, fresh, no bottles in the shower.
Take your artwork down, your crazy pictures. They've got to go. And it doesn't mean they're not good. It just means we need to minimize the look and capture, like I know you had said on a couple of them that we were talking about, they were smaller and they had them all cluck, cluck, cluck. And that's great and everything, but maybe one big piece.
And a larger piece. That's part of it too. You need white space.
You don't need everything on every wall.
Right.
Okay, that's just that. You do a few pieces here, something that invites people into the room, but creates a lovely space. And again, they see themselves, they look at it and go, oh, our piece would look good there.
Right.
You know, our painting.
Right.
You know, that's what we want.
They've got to see themselves in it, and that means it has to have the space to allow them to see themselves in it. So we talked about lighting, we talked about
towels.
If you have nice floors, if you have good clean floors, I say take off rugs. Now, if you have rugs, we kind of disagree on this a little bit.
We do.
If you have a rug, the furniture, at least the front of the legs, must fit on the rugs. I do not like small, just
your rug
area
needs to be
rugs.
right size, okay? You can't be having some little big
And
rug.
most of the time I see people have the rugs too small.
She's right about it. And then you do have concerns when you talk about your wood floors and how the lighting and the sun will change and color the floor based upon your rug being there. So as soon as you pull that rug out, it's like, oops, they had a rug. So you do have those effects depending on the wood product that's on the floor. But it can be a good look. It's also a nice sound barrier. If you've got young kids, they don't come screaming through the house and now all of a sudden this is louder because your rugs are all gone. But have them match. Or have them be in a similar palette, for heaven's sake.
That's where really, frankly, and this may be different for each area. Like if I were out in Mexico, they don't like anything on the rugs. They want to see shiny, glossy. So each area is somewhat different. The season of the year is different. And that is why it's important to get somebody who's regionally and knows exactly what the buyers are looking for. But in general, the rugs that I see are way too small.
They need to go.
If the front of the legs of all furniture doesn't fit on it, it's too small.
It's too small for your area.
It just makes the room look small. Also, furniture not placed all the way around the room. You know, most rooms are large enough to have a seating area and discussion area. And if you're sitting in the chair, you can reach to put your glass down on the table, or you can speak without having to yell across the room at each other.
And
little
those sitting areas,
TVs,
gathering areas.
Let's talk about TVs. You're probably taking it with you, but still, they want to see that they can sit in your family room and watch TV and enjoy themselves. And if you have to crane your neck way up high because it's way above a really too tall mantle, that's so uncomfortable, and it's going to hurt over time.
Nobody's going to come over and watch a show with you when they have to sit there with their neck back like that. So let's just really think in terms of where things should be placed in the room. And that's where, again, if we're working with you, we're going to come in and talk to you about these things because, yes, it may have worked for you, and that's really great, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't photograph well. It's not inviting, and it doesn't create the opportunity that you want it to create when placing your home on the market. So there are things about that we want to think about.
Designers design for the family to live there forever. Stagers are people who do what we do and helping people sell their home. We help you get rid of that house for the most money possible.
And we have staging and design backgrounds, and we have all sorts of interesting backgrounds that we bring to the table that others maybe don't. But that's where we bring that to you, and that's something that we enjoy doing because it is an individual thing. You know, Susan, we're throwing generalities out there that are very important to realize. You get a paper and a notepad and just write this down, or a pen and pad, and write down some of these things. She's exactly right. But when it comes to your room, we have to see that. We have to look at that. And maybe things you had grouped and coupled together in different places, because I know I've done that.
You can shop your own house.
Exactly.
move things around. A fresh eye can see things differently and instantly say, hey, this would look great over there. It'll give you more room, it'll give you more traffic space.
Done it 1,000 times.
The
People
other
turn
thing is,
around
it
and
just
go,
remind me
"Never
about,
thought about it."
we get kind of eye blind to what we see and live in every day. Nose blind.
Okay,
Oh,
you've
my
got your
goodness, that's
animal.
the
You need to
biggest-
clean your carpets. You've got some funky stuff on your carpets. It's got to go. We need to replace the carpets. Minimal expense. I know you're going there because we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh my gosh, it looked like a crime scene over there in the corner. It's got to go." Just give them some money.
Oh, yeah.
No, they don't want your money. They
Well,
don't want to see
they're not
that.
walking in the house. The last thing
They
you
may
want
walk in,
is
but
for
they're walking
somebody
out.
to leave at the end of the day. You've seen 5 houses. You've done it over and over again. I have too.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that house? Well, we're all naming them.
Yeah.
One is the
Crime scene house.
The crime scene house. One is the
Smelly
stinky house.
dog.
One is the cat house.
Yes.
One is the bird house. One is the purple house. I mean,
We don't name them this.
Those are
We're
not-
licensed realtors, but our clients do. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's your house.
they're
okay?
naming. That's how they're remembering your house.
Yes.
You want your house to be remembered as, oh my gosh, that perfect house.
Yes,
perfect
the
house.
picturesque house. Yeah,
perfect
my
house.
favorite.
And here's where the numbers work. And showed 7 houses in an area, all at the same kind of price point. 405 to 452, I think where it was. 1,500 square feet to 2,400 square feet. There was one home that was
Picturesque.
perfection. It was the smallest. Everything about it was perfect. Again, someone had come in, totally staged it. Every inch had been painted.
Oh, yeah.
New fixtures. None of those boob lights. There's no other word for it. No boob lights in it.
It's a flush mount, but we all know what it looks like, and we hate it. It's got to go.
All of the 70s,
She's right.
80s, 90s lighting had been taken out and new fresh light. Not expensive,
No,
but good lighting.
No, it isn't expensive.
Cabinetry taken care of. Hardwood floors refinished. It was new LVP flooring.
Which is nice too. I mean,
Perfect.
people do like that when you have children and animals.
Minimal furniture.
Made
House
the room look
was
big.
perfection.
Made the room look big.
And it was priced right too.
Multiple
You know,
offers.
when we talked about, we talked about their pricing. It was priced on the very low end of right. Pricing is so key, and that's not even something we're going to try to discuss here. But there's a range of homes and it just of pricing, and it just depends on how much you're willing to spend to get it right.
And
The
while we're
range.
talking about that, people have to spend money. Sometimes you have to spend money because,
Yeah.
like you, I had a client just a few weeks ago, absolutely stellar, love them. When I said do it, they were like, okay, we're gonna do it. And they didn't get their feelings hurt. I was like, okay, I love this. And I knew them, so there was a relationship, so you feel even more delicate when you say it, you know?
Right.
And the truth is, I meant it exactly the same way to a total stranger.
Yeah.
I love you. This has got to go. We love how this looks. This will make this look so much bigger. Same thing. People came in, they loved it because they did what we told them. They minimized it. They got multiple offers. My people didn't want to spend money, but they spent a little bit, and it made a difference of $100,000. They're
does.
going to make $100,000 more because they spent the money that they needed. Is that a
This house
guarantee every
was
time?
staged perfectly. It was priced on the low side of right. There were multiple
side of
offers,
right.
and we're not
I
really
like
in
that.
a low side. We're not really.
We
in
don't
a
ever deal
multiple
with
offer
that.
Situation
That's
much.
why it was a multiple offer situation. It's a low dollar
Sold
house.
well over 30,000 over asking price. I know because my people offered 30 over price and we didn't get it. No inspections, no contingencies. The house was perfection, and no other home can compete with it. We can get your house to that same situation, or you can. It's going to take a little money, and it's going to take some elbow grease.
Elbow grease.
Elbow grease.
It does take some work, and the biggest thing is we were talking about lower price homes in that situation. Hers was in the 4s that went 30 to 40,000 over,
At least.
and it's just a rare opportunity that she had. She just happened to have somebody in that price range. This almost never happens. And then mine was in the mid 5s, and that's also a lower one. When we're talking about your $1 million homes, your $2 million homes, which we deal with all the time, you also have those same things and considerations because that person, and you may be that person, has spent 50 to 100 grand on their designer to come in and do it. And now we're insulting the best friend and
That's
the
tough.
designer
That is
and
tough.
the homeowner, and we're not trying to say that at all. When you're talking about things that have
tough.
changed over the last 2 to 5 years even
Yeah.
in what the offering is, we want you to be aware that slight color palette changes, lightening up the walls. You can still stay in a purple or blue gray, which gray can do.
Easily.
It better be a light alpaca grayish. We have the whites that we like. I'm a
The
big
right light
alabaster
bulbs
fan.
will make it look
Right light.
cold or hot or warm, whichever.
And your natural light will do the same thing.
Exactly.
Natural light will
Exactly.
absolutely dictate a different look on that wall and in your room and on you. because you're in there,
True.
you know, so you
True,
don't want to look
very true.
sick. But those things, because they were designed and because they were done beautifully, because they actually spent the money and the time to do the rearrange and the rebirth of the home and present it well and entered the market, they sold quickly, like immediately, for overprice, for over ask.
In an environment that's not real typical.
Not happening right now. I mean, it's
And
not,
not so much here.
Yeah.
In most areas of the country, it's still not it's not happening.
It's changed. And how do you
But
enter the
I'll tell you
market?
what, it's changing quickly again. I think at the spring, we're starting to get a whole lot more people looking, and the homes that are going off the shelf are the ones that are done. The homes that are sitting are not done this way, and our goal here is to help you in having your house be one of the chosen homes,
Yeah.
and not the
one that's
smelly
sitting.
house.
Because when's the
Not
best?
the smelly house.
Yeah, we don't want you to have the smelly house. We don't be in one of those that we named a minute ago. The
And
crime scene.
Once it's been on the
can't be
market for
that.
30 days, people are so used to what's wrong with that.
30 to 45 is your best time
yeah.
frame, your best initial time frame in which you can
After
sell
that,
a
you're
home.
going to chase the market down in price.
Or you can. It depends on where you are, and there are some things about it, and coming out of these seasons and which location, but those are all still things that you don't need that on top of, oh my gosh, you're the smelly house, or you have the crime scene carpet.
Yeah.
You know, because you're going to have real situations with the market.
Please, people, do the basics. Steam your curtains.
Clean your house.
Clean your house. Make the bed. Look,
Declutter.
I am shocked every time I walk into a house with the toilet seat up. The beds aren't quite made. The shampoos and the dirty wet towels are just ick.
I had a client say that to me. I walked in to her beautifully redone shower, and it was the kids' shower, and I grabbed a bucket. It was black because it just worked in this, and I put all the shampoos down in this bucket, and I set it over to the side. I took all of her colorful towels, I hummed them under the sink, and I popped up my 2 whites, and it looked great. And she said, "Really?" And I went, "Really?"
Makes a
and do you
difference.
know what? The house sold in 12 days.
Makes a difference.
It does.
Well, everybody needs to have a giant hamper, so when you get the last minute phone call to show the house,
Goes in there.
all the dirty towels, the kids' toys, everything that you can't pick up, it all goes in there. You stick it in the car. You don't put it in the garage because that garage is already overcrowded. Stick it in the car, take it with you, drive it around.
With your pet.
We love
Take your
animals.
cat.
Most people don't. Most people that I'm talking to now are allergic. They just are.
Well, part
And they
of
don't
the
like
thing-
fabrics because they're allergic.
And that's why they don't want your carpet. And that's why. So here's the thing about carpet. We're not dogging carpet. We are not saying that you can't have it. But truthfully, you do not, you know, the Berber Frise that was long
Oh, no,
and
don't
you
do that.
stomp down on it, you know, it just looks traveled the first day it goes in. And, you know, it was probably put in because it may have been a builder spec type of item, you know, 5,
Yeah.
7, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's got to come out. And you need to go with the light pile if you don't go with an LVP throughout, which it depends on the price range and the structure that you're doing as to
Right.
whether or not it's in there. When you're talking about a product like this, which it does not have it, it's got the LVP throughout the whole house, which is lovely. That's great for allergy people. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's wonderful.
It is good.
And your
good for
area
pets.
rugs, it's
People who
great
have
for
pets.
pets.
The other thing is keep all your flooring as much as possible one
same.
floor color.
The
The
same.
exact same. It's going to make a tiny room feel bigger. It's going to make a bigger house feel more cohesive. It's just more of a luxury.
There's some nice, elegant changes, like she said, that you can certainly do when you get into your wet areas and depending on the price of the home that are wonderful to do. You know, the uniqueness of that bathroom renovation when you have the lovely tiles that you pick that are lovely. And when we're talking about that, they're not all white now. They're not all just the gray veins in the marble type either. You've got
Right.
wonderful mosaic tiles that are out there that are lovely
Good
additions. Yeah, and they're sometimes in a warmer pattern, which can be very pretty and elegant.
Right.
And it's a dash of color that you've brought into the room.
But you want to have the cohesiveness throughout
Absolutely.
the house rather than one room this way and one room this way
Yeah.
and one room this way. All the linen should be clean and fresh. Duvet covers, steamed.
Your
the
beds need to
towels
look like
looking
you didn't just
clean.
run out
The
either.
bed needs to look like somebody wasn't in it 10 minutes ago
Yeah.
and it's still warm.
Oh my God, the house is showing.
Selling your house is hard work, but the profits
Are worth it. Here's the thing. Once you decide to enter the market, then you as a family or a couple or just you and your dog need to know that we're going on this road and we are going to now run down this yellow brick road to get our money. Your home becomes your commodity. This is somebody's biggest investment oftentimes comes, they want to know that you've taken care of it. If they're buying your house instead of new construction, which we love both. If they get what they want, we want our client to be happy, and then a few years later, they're going to sell that new construction house as an existing
I think that's
house.
one idea that we need to talk about is in another video is new construction versus
Existing,
resale.
older, yeah.
Because there are some giant pros and cons to each. And I won't even begin to think about that right now, but that's a good topic.
And we love them both.
Because when you come into a new area, that's what you're considering. Older home or new construction. They each have pros, each have cons, and that's why a conversation with us is the most important thing you should do.
Absolutely.
But I think it would be a good video for us to talk about because
I agree.
That could go on for a long, long time, as could this. So here's my thoughts. Every situation is totally different. Your situation is totally different than mine. What you need and people who help you put together your program is different. So what they should do is contact us, but we haven't told them who we are.
Well, I'm Felicia Long.
I'm Susan Bedford. We were the XP here in the Nashville, Middle Tennessee area. We help hundreds of people every single year in moving to Nashville or moving around Nashville, because nobody moves out of Nashville.
We've been doing this for a minute. She's right. I mean, people come to Nashville to stay, and people come into the areas. They will either move in and out and then retire back to Tennessee or the Middle Tennessee area. So no, it's been a very, very good real estate market, and that's why we've been doing it as long as we have, which is decades. So you might not need to know how many, but it's been a few.
They could probably guess.
But
So-
the truth is, that's why
Yeah.
we love what we do. That's why we've been doing it as long as we have. And we've had these experiences that we'd like to share with you because there are so many different things and they keep changing. And since they do keep changing, we want you to stay abreast of those changes so that you can enter the market or purchase in the market with a good understanding of what you're going to see.
Knowledge in mind of what that investment's going to do for you. You know what I think might be a nice idea? Would you like to see this new construction? Let's take you around and give you a sneak peek.
Can't wait.
And some of the things we talked about was rugs, gleaming floors, big paintings. So we want to hit that reflection of mirrors.
Correct lighting.
All right, so this is going to be the opening, and we hope we're not going to keep stopping and starting because it's going to be one long one, and you're going to have to do some good editing.
Well, we got this. Because we're professional. Don't try this at home. Like my mama says, their taste is all in their mouth. It's the truth.
Get some goose and some geese and some goose. I can't even say it.